Well, welcome to our Deloitte presentation. It's going to be short, but we hope informative. My name is Sam, for those of you who have jumped on since the panel, and I am the graduate recruiter at Deloitte. So we recruit across all business units and locations, and have 7 business units. We recruit at a grad and intern level across 7 locations in New Zealand. I am going to pass over to my colleague Nathan to introduce himself as well.
Hey guys, my name is Nathan. I joined Deloitte in 2019, so I'm in my 4th year now. I'm part of the private business unit based down here in Wellington.
Thank you, Nathan. Great. So, who is Deloitte? So just a bit about us. So we are based in 150 countries. We're in 7 regions and have over 1,500 employees, and we are always growing. Our grad cohort and intern cohort grows every year, which is so great to see. And we have over 145 partners and always growing, and we're seeing quite a big growth in our female partners over the last few years, which is really great to see. And we offer 80 hours of learning and development in your first year. Our client work spans across 29 industry sectors. We have you have one-to-one mental support from day one as being an intern and a grad, and that's just someone who's been where you are and is just a few years ahead of you in that journey. So can basically give you the whole inside of any tips to get into life at Deloitte, and someone you can go to as well to help you settle in. We work with over 18,000 clients, and we also support your qualifications. So especially that the main ones that you'll hear about is your CA. So Nathan, I'm sure we'll talk about this later. We do support your CA, as well as providing a generous study leave allocation, so you're able to study for your CA at the same time as working as a grad with us. And we also offer over 13,500 hours pro bono and volunteering. An example is on our recent internship in Christchurch. They did a volunteering day, and we also offer 27 secondments and optimistic. Now things are hopefully getting semi back to normal. We'll be seeing more of those in the future. Cool. So just to recap, why Deloitte? So performance is reviewed regularly. We are genuinely interested in progression. So we do have regular kind of one-to-ones with our coaches, where we talk about our goals and what we can do to be on track for our goals, and any barriers or blocks in the way. We can talk that through with our coaches. We do provide flexible working options. Obviously, the last 2 years, a lot of places have had to adapt. So it is really great that we are, especially for myself, we can carry a lot of our work out at home. And now we're able to go back to the office when it kind of works for us as well. So they are really flexible with that, and especially if you have children or other commitments. We do also offer social club outings and sports teams for you to join, as well as providing all employees with access to like upskilling and through virtual e-learnings, mentorings, and L&D learning and development sessions. And we do offer study leave, volunteer leave, and cultural leave. Cool. I'm going to get Nathan to cover this one, and he can talk about his own experience through here too.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks heaps, Sam. So just like to touch on career progression. Obviously, when you would start out as just from the consultant level or analyst. And so there at Deloitte, especially, there is quite a clear progression pathway. And so this will be laid out to you kind of from day one, and show you, how you can get from consultant all the way to partner, and kind of those skills which you will be learning from there. I think also from day one you are assigned a coach who is just your buddy, I guess, which you can bounce ideas off of for both your career options here at Deloitte or even beyond. But really it's just having those one-on-one check-ins with them to see where and how you want to grow. If you just switch over to the next slide, Sam, just want to kind of talk about a day in the life of what you would typically be doing in private. of course, we are a business, and so we do like to do a bit of work, but also outside of that, there are heaps of opportunities to get involved in trainings. I think if you were to join the graduate program, everyone who has been through that will be tasked with sitting in a training. And yeah, it's just kind of, you can learn about the things which you've learned at uni and how that goes into practice. Just in terms of private, Sam, just for the next slide, so why we call private? Well, we do deal with private clients, but more so I think the better word would be business advisory. So kind of what we do is that we start off with kind of the more compliance side, so that first point there, which is the preparation of annual accounts, and from there we really like to focus on, I guess, the direct relationships which we develop with our clients, and so that can really help us to spin that into other pieces of work, such as forecasting and budgeting and whatnot. Just in terms of me, I have been placed on a couple of secondments as well, and so that is kind of a opportunity to go onto client site and be a part of their team, kind of on a more short-term basis, but for longer hours. And I think that's a really good skill to learn and see what it's like out of practice, as we would say. And then what kind of clients we deal with as well. So in private, we deal with SMEs. Being based down here in Wellington, it's also great because we also deal with the central government as well. And so, yeah, you get a huge variety of clients here in Wellington. I find it quite interesting when I walk down one of the main streets in Wellington and, you can see these fast food places and delivery services, and I think, oh, actually they are clients of Deloitte, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, I'll now just pass back to Sam to continue to talk about the recruitment process.
Thank you, Nathan. Cool, so this is our recruitment process. So appreciate some of you may have already applied, some of you are looking at applying, maybe want to know a bit more. So this is just a brief overview. If you were on the panel, you would have heard us say, do your research, be familiar with the role that you are applying into. And Nathan's a great example. So Nathan obviously studied accounting at uni because he's gone into our private team, which we also have listed as that business advisory, if you are interested in applying for that. Also in our audit team, so assurance and advisory, we do ask the academic, well, the background is you must be on track to doing your chartered accountancy, so have a major in accounting. So that's just an example. So if you do have that and are wanting to do your CA, please do apply into one of those business units. If you aren't sure what you can do with what you've studied, we do have a Find Your Fit quiz on our website. So you just put in what you've studied and it will generate business units that you can apply into. So even if you say studied accounting but may not want to work in accounting, perhaps you want to do consulting, that's also a good option. So yeah, definitely do your research, read that job description, understand what the role is. Are you applying at an intern or a grad level? Make sure that you are applying for the role that reflects like that where you are at in terms of your study, and be clear on your intentions as to why you want a career with us. So what sets us aside, tailor that cover letter, tailor your CV, and ensure that it is reflecting why you want us. And once you've done your research or you prepare your documents, so we do ask for a CV, cover letter, and academic record. What I do want to touch on the academic record is please, if possible, submit it in a PDF format. It doesn't have to be an official copy, as appreciate you all haven't probably finished uni yet. So if you just get a PDF transcript, which you can download an unofficial copy, which clearly has like identifying features to yourself, such as your name, that is great. And then you're good to go. Make sure your cover letter is the one from Deloitte, and submit that and apply for a role with us. If you do get through the initial application stage, we do invite you to testing. So this is cognitive and behavioral testing. and we do advise to allow up to an hour. For some people may take much less time, some people may take a bit more, but an hour is just a safe period, just to set that time aside in a disruption-free environment where you're not likely to get distracted, and we do recommend doing that in one sitting. And there's nothing you can do to prepare for this testing. I just say just do it at a time of the day that you have the time to commit to it. And don't overthink your answers. Do what comes to you naturally, and not what you think we may want to see as well in some of the questions. So that's my advice on the testing. If you are successful in that testing stage, we do send you through a video interview to do. The questions do vary off the service line you are applying into. So for example, like our accounting roles, like in private and audit, may have different questions to our risk advisory roles and our consulting roles. They are 4 questions, and they will be around your motivation for a role. So perhaps motivation around a career at Deloitte, why you've chosen this role, maybe a bit of a background about yourself, some perhaps a situational question. So I just say do your research, treat it like it's an actual interview, kind of dress to impress, and remember, try and relax as much as you can and smile. And try and, like, my advice is, like, look into the camera. It's quite obvious if people are reading notes, so that would be my main advice for the video interview. Appreciate that it is a bit of an awkward experience because you're not talking to anyone, but it's just for us to get to know a bit more about you. So that is the video interview, and if you are successful in that stage, we do invite you to have an interview with a couple of my colleagues in our business unit. Once again, be yourself, have some questions up your sleeve that show you're interested in the people interviewing you and a career at Deloitte and within that business unit. We do provide you with the who's interviewing you in advance with their names. So you can look them up on LinkedIn, have some questions to ask them about them. That's always great. And also have some great examples from your CV of your kind of relevant work experience or anything relevant from your own studies. That's always helpful. And with the interview, depending on the business unit that you're applying into, it's either a 1-stage or a 2-stage interview process, and some may have a case study. We do ask that you do, when you are setting that testing and those video interviews, kind of do them as soon as you can. Obviously allow time to do that, but don't wait too long, as it can create a delay in your application. And as I'm sure Emma will say later in her with KPMG as well, it's just that we are all moving really quickly with the applications. So definitely do, when you do receive those, try and do them as soon as possible as well. Cool. So that is a bit about our recruitment process. I just say take your time, be thorough, make sure you do your research and be clear on your intentions as to why us. And those initial documents are just the perfect opportunity for you to tell us your own story and what makes you unique, because we want unique, diverse experiences. And that brings us to questions. So does anyone have any questions for us? You can, I don't know if Taylor minds, if you want to speak up as well, because this group's not too big. I saw there was a question about GPA, so I just thought I'd comment on that. Does having a lower GPA mean straight rejection and for applicants at a disadvantage? So no. Academic transcripts is one thing we take into account. In those initial stages, we also have your CV and your cover letter as well. So we are interested in other work experience that you've done as well and other things that you have done. If you think if there was, like, for example, perhaps a reason that you didn't do so well one year, we do take mitigating circumstances into account as well. So if you just disclose that when you do apply for a role with us, that is all considered. But really, we do recommend everyone applying to us. And also, if you haven't been successful in the past, we do encourage kind of you taking on like feedback and to reflect on why not in the past, and we definitely do encourage you to reapply as well. How long, and then we've had a question, how long will you find out between each recruitment process? So it does vary depending on kind of what stage you are at in the process, but I'd say by mid-April, you all kind of know next stages by then. It just, different business units move at a different pace, and with the volume of candidates, it is done by a candidate basis, like one-on-one basis. So that's basically my answer there. But if you have applied, we definitely would have received your application. And I just had another question. I'm currently studying the CA program and on a visitor visa. With the current border and work visa situation, it's been hard to find a company to be able to offer sponsorship. Does your company currently look for international workers who need a work visa for graduate level jobs? And do you foresee a move towards this as borders reopen and with the new work visa schemes coming out in July? Yes, so basically at grad level, this is kind of twofold. So at grad level, we do offer the post-work study visa for 3 years. But if you're a current international student in New Zealand, we do offer that. But if you're overseas and you're looking to come into New Zealand, but you weren't a student in New Zealand and you don't have that right to work in New Zealand, currently we are assessing that, and it is becoming more likely that we're able to kind of accept students on that international basis at an experience hire, but for sponsorship, but we aren't sponsoring at a grad level. Taylor, I might pass back over to you.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for the presentation.
No worries. Thank you, everyone.
Wilfred was kind enough to post the link to Deloitte's current open roles in the chat, so feel free to check them out. And I'm sure Sam won't mind if you hit her up on LinkedIn or something to ask a few more questions if you have them.
No, that would be so great. Thank you. Oh, and sorry, one last thing that I forgot to mention. I have put we are doing a kind of a touch point session next Tuesday at 12 p.m. and it's just a national event, just for anyone to drop in. It's on Humantics, just for to find out more about our program and hear from our business unit. So that's happening at Tuesday at 12 p.m. If you are interested, it's on Humantics and our website. So if you want to know more, definitely come along to that.
There you go. Go check that out. Awesome. Again, thanks, Sam. Thanks, Nathan, for joining today. Hopefully the students got a lot out of that as well.